Kלים Perikov base Mishnah Daled. Interesting machlokas coming up. Kisei shel kalo shenitlu chipuyov. We're dealing with a special chair belonging to a kala, to a bride. It's a very fancy chair. It has very fancy armrests and a nice back. We know, like what we call a kala chair. This machlokas is a very fundamental machlokas. When you have a chair, for instance a chair, and it has a specific function, it's not just meant for sitting, for every Tom, Dick and Harry to sit on the chair. This chair is made for a colour. Now, for a regular chair, it becomes broken when you cannot sit on it anymore. What happens if this chair now becomes broken in such a way that it is no longer fit for the colour, but other people can still use it as a regular chair? In other words, all the fancy bits come off. Does the shvira apply to the particular specific function for this chair, or do we look at a chair in general? Says the Mishnah, Shenitlu Chipuyav. Chipuyav here in this Mishnah means those extra bits, the armrests in the back, which are made specially for ornamental purposes, specially designed for the colour. They're missing, they're broken. So now the chair is still a regular chair, but it cannot be used as a kisei shel kala anymore. B'shamai metamin, they say, we don't look at the specific function of the colour. We look at the overall function of a chair. It's still a chair, and therefore other people can use it, and therefore it's tomei. V'silul matarin, they say no. You look at the specific function of this chair. This chair was made to be a chair of a colour. It cannot be used as a chair of a colour anymore, and therefore, as far as this chair is concerned, this chair is broken. Shammai oimer, Shammai go in the view of Beis Shammai that even though it cannot be used as a chair of a colour, it's still a chair generally, and therefore it's tomei. But they go even further. They say af malbein shel kisei tomei. According to Beis Shammai, you've got to have the chipuyim can be missing, but what's left, the chair has to have 4 legs, a frame, and the boards to sit on. The whole chair has to be there in order for it to be a chair. Shammai are not arguing specifically in the chair of a colour, they're arguing on all chairs. They say every chair. Even if you've got the seating boards missing, you're just left with the 4 legs and the frame, even that's still called a chair, you can still sit on it and tomei. Shammai's particular machlokas here is not relevant to kisei shel kala, and I think that's why they add the words af malbein shel kisei, and don't just say af malbein tomei, because they're trying to say their view applies to all chairs. Now I'm moving on to another thing which we've had this similar thing before, but there's a twist here. Kisei shekavoi ba'areva. You have a chair, and you fix it to an areva. An areva was a giant kneading trough, a big bowl in which they used to work, maybe a few people worked in this bowl to knead dough, an areva, or to wash clothes. At one end of this big bath, you take a chair and you fix it, you screw it into the areva. Now we've had this type of idea before. When you take a chair and you fix it to a davar which is not makabel tumah, for instance, you fix the chair to a wall, we had the Mishnah in Perik Chof. That doesn't matter, the chair still retains its own identity and is still makabel tumah b'teres medras, because you can still use it as a chair despite the fact it's fixed to a wall. However, here you're fixing it to an areva. An areva is not tomei medras. An areva is a regular kli eitz. So Beis Shammai's rule is the normal rule which we expect. Beis Shammai metamin, they say taking a chair and fixing it to an areva leaves the chair with its own identity, and therefore the chair continues to be makabel tumas medras as it did before you fixed it. That's okay. Beis Hillel matarin, here this is where we have to find a difference. They say now the chair has become bottled to the areva. Why here do Beis Hillel say that the chair loses its identity and becomes bottled to the areva, which means it is now not able to be makabel tumas medras anymore, just like the areva itself? Whereas previously we said if you take a chair and you fix it to a wall, the chair continues to retain its identity and be makabel tumas medras. I think the answer is, when you fix a chair to a wall, the chair really has nothing to do with the wall. It's not bottled to the wall. But here, the reason why you're fixing the chair to the areva is so that the person doing the particular function of the areva, which is the primary function of this kli, uses the chair to help him. He sits on the chair while he's kneading the dough, while he's washing the clothes. In such a case, the chair, because the sitting on the chair is a toffel, is auxiliary to the primary function of the areva, therefore in such a case the chair now becomes bottled to the areva, and just like the areva is not mekabel tumas medras because it's not made the mishkav and moshev, therefore the chair loses its identity, and therefore the chair is not mekabel tumas medras. But everybody agrees, if you make an areva lechatchila, you don't take an existing chair and put it to an existing areva. When you make the areva lechatchila, you make one corner, a little seat in the corner to sit on so they can help you wash. Everybody agrees, the Beshamai and Besidl who argued now, if a chair is made originally with the areva, l'chule alma, because the chair never had its own identity, l'chule alma, that chair was always bottled to the areva, and therefore that chair is not mekabel tumas medras. And that's where we have the third view, Shammai Omer, afa osuba. He says if you even lechatchila make an areva with a chair in one corner, the function of the areva and the function of the chair are always separate. There are two separate functions here and they don't interfere with each other. And therefore the areva is not mekabel tumas medras, and the little chair built into the corner is a separate chair, and that part of the areva, the chair part, is mekabel tumas medras. And Baruch Hashem, that's Mishnah Dalet. We move on to